Regan Slaymaker for International Boxing News, and I have the pleasure to be joined by promoter Benn Shalom. Benn, Azim, Ohara Davies, I mean, what a fight card we've got on Saturday night.
It's massive, and I think it's gone under the radar for me. I think Aziz Edmondson, British title, 50-50 fight in many people's eyes. McKinson and Menge, IBO world title, 50-50 fight in many people's eyes, with a huge upset potentially on the cards. Michael McKinson, considered the best welterweight in the country. TKV against Ignatius, trying to break into that domestic heavyweight scene. Both of them know each other well. Two local guys in another very close, evenly matched fight. Anthony Yarde on the card as well, bringing a huge noise. It's just a great card on Saturday. It's fantastic, and I appreciate all the noise has been about last Saturday, because deservedly so. It was a huge night. But we talk about British shows. This is a fantastic show. This is really good, and not to mention Fran Hennessy, Shannon Courtney, both on the card. Sam Hickey, who's widely tipped as a future star of our sport from Scotland, and it's great to be back. It's great to see everyone. It's great to see security. It's great to see the managers. I love it. This is where I started British boxing, and there's nothing better in my eyes.
Definitely. When I was speaking to Adam on Joshua Dubois Fight Week, he talked about kind of the people who Ohara's been in with, and I was just talking to Johnny Nelson there. He said if there's going to be an upset on the card, it'll be that fight there. Obviously not something that you want to see, something that Lee Eaton probably does want to see, but it's a really good fight between Adam and Ohara.
There's a lot of jeopardy, it's hard to know. It's hard to know because we don't know what Ohara is. Anyone can lose in a first round fight, especially at interim world title level. You only have to look at his resume to see what a huge step up this for Adam Azim. But he's matured so much outside the ring. It gives us a lot of confidence. I think he's got a huge opportunity to announce himself on the world scene on Saturday night. But it's a great fight, and that's why fans are interested.
They definitely are as well. Also, can't talk about the massive coup on the card. Anthony Yarde, you bringing him over onto your show. Goes without saying, it's a fight that I want to see in British boxing. But Yarde versus Buatsi, I imagine a win on Saturday night. We might get not an announcement, but the moves talking on that fight.
Look, for me, with Josh, we had to come. I'm in the Buatsi camp. We had to come through Willie Hutchinson. We did. We then had to see what happened with Bivol Beterbiev, because the number one aim was to fight one of them. As expected, it was a close fight, and we expect to see the rematch. There's no other fight left. Do you imagine if I give Josh Buatsi a different fight? I think I'll be burnt alive. It's just such a big fight. It's such a big fight, and it's one of those British fights that as a fan you just want to see. They've been synonymous with each other since they started. Everyone's always compared them. We've got to see that fight. We have to see it. But Anthony Yarde has to do the business on Saturday night.
He definitely does. I'm going to put you in a bit of a sticky situation here, Ben. Who goes into the favourite between a fight between Yarde and Buatsi?
I believe Buatsi. I believe Buatsi's in great form. I believe Buatsi's interim world title. I believe he goes in the slight favourite. I really do. But this is the reason why this is such a crazy fight. Is it's going to divide opinion. It's going to divide every boxing expert in the country. It's going to divide every boxing trainer. It's going to divide the barbershops. It's massive for the capital. It's a big fight in London. Being in London, I've obviously moved down from Manchester now whilst I've been promoting, and when I'm around in the ends, as they say, it's all I get asked about is Buatsi Yarde. It's really huge for the culture, never mind the sport, and fingers crossed we can make it.
Does that go to the O2?
I believe that's the front runner. Yeah.
Perfect as well. I do want to move on to Frazer Clarke. I mean, obviously not the result you guys wanted on Saturday night, but great to see. He said on TalkSport, I think last night or this morning, wants to continue, and he's basically very honest about it. It was his mistake, not his team's. Wants to continue and wants to get back to that title level.
Correct, and it's great to see. Obviously, I've spoken about it, so we won't go into it, but it was a horrible moment. But all clear, and he's a fighting man, and he's devastated. Never mind the injury, he got caught. He wants to see that right, and I want to see him fulfilling potential, because he's a very talented fighter, and anything can happen in heavyweight boxing. You'll learn a lot from it. Losses do not define you in the sport. We've seen that with Daniel Dubois. We've seen that with every champion. We've seen that with Anthony Joshua, and that is what he needs to focus on now. Make sure this is the making of him.
Definitely as well, and if you want to see what Ben said kind of about the injury, watch Oscar Bevis's interview with Ben. I thought it was a really great watch as well. On the British Boxing Border Control circular, because it shows how sad I am, I tune into them every month. Vidal Riley versus Isaac Chamberlain for the English Cruiserweight title. Obviously you won the promotional rights to that. Could we see that before the end of the year?
Possibly, or January. It's happening. It's a great fight. Like both guys. Great fight. A lot of history there as well. It's, may the best man win. It's a spectacular fight, and Vidal's obviously returning from injury, and then we're going to see that fight.
Headliner in London?
Yeah, I'd like that to headline, yeah.
Perfect. Final one from me. Obviously, I haven't spoken to you since you announced the signing, the partnership deal with Chris Eubank Jr. I mean, great win in Saudi Arabia. I mean, but is the main priority that fight with Conor, Ben?
Main priority is Benn or Canelo. If Ben's got his licence, I believe it will happen next, because Chris is fed up and pissed off, and that was a horrible moment in his life, that whole saga, for so many reasons which he's talked about. He's bitter about it, and so it's not born rivals anymore. This is a lot more than that, and I see that when I speak to him, and he wants to deal with him, and I believe he will deal with him in good fashion. And even when Conor Benn came over the other day, when he was cutting weight, that's really the type of behaviour that pisses Chris off. He's a gentleman, and we're going to see him taking him apart. If it can't happen next because of the licence issues, I want to make the Canelo fight. For me, that's the number one fight. That will always be number one on my list. That's the fight that I want to make. That's the fight that I'll be working on.
Definitely as well. I mean, what did you kind of make? I mean, as a boxing fan, we all like it when the potential future opponent gets in the ring and kind of stirs it up. I mean, Neymar being the moderator, which was quite cool as being a football fan. What did you make of kind of that scene after the Ceremeta knockout?
It was good fun. I mean, again, Conor will jump in the ring every time Chris is around. He's obsessed with Chris. He'll go around and he's obsessed with the fight, which is fine. And Chris will play his part, no problem. Neymar's part of Chris Eubank Jr.'s team. They've been friends for a while through poker, and it's I don't think he quite knew what was going on, which was funny. But he's there to support Chris, and he'll always support Chris, and it's good to have him part of the team, and he'll be there when it happens. I know he's a big part of Saudi Arabia and His Excellency's vision as well, with the football. So that's why he was there. It was funny, wasn't it?
It definitely was. Come on, Ben. Crispy Eubank Jr. Neymar Media Day. Please make it happen as well. I mean, Ben. I think I've taken enough of your time. Any final words heading into this massive show on Saturday night?
Just a massive card. If you're in the London area, you have to get to a Copper Box on Saturday night. It's got everything, this show. It really has. It's going to be spectacular. Hopefully see some announcements made. Who knows? And I think for anyone watching on Sky Sports, I think we come in. We're live from 7, but then after the Arsenal-Bournemouth game, we'll see Anthony Yarde, we'll see Azim Ohara, we'll see Aziz Edmondson. It's just a great night of British boxing, and I can't wait.
Definitely, Aziz Edmondson is one of my favourite fights on the card. Ben, Shalom, thank you very much. Cheers. Thank you. You too.